Now here's the key question. This is a rhetorical, a heuristic. Control comparisons require that we always ask the how else question. When we look at the relationship between an independent variable and a dependent variable, and we see a relationship, we must ask this: how else, other than the independent variable, are the groups I'm comparing not the same? A controlled comparison is accomplished by examining the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable, while holding constant other variables suggested by rival explanations and hypotheses. So if you hold a rival constant, as you vary the independent variable from one value to another, but if the rival variable is held constant, then any differences in the dependent cannot be attributed to that rival cause. There may be other rival causes, but you've held that particular cause constant. Let's return to the recurring example in the textbook, which is the relationship between partisanship and gun control opinions. Here's the hypothesis. In a comparison of individuals, Democrats are more likely to favor gun control than are Republicans. And sure enough, if we did this simple comparison, we'd find this: 64% of Democrats favor gun control compared with only 25% of Republicans. So we are drawn, or we are tempted to draw the conclusion that our theory, our explanation about the linkage between partisanship and gun control opinions has causation in it, that somehow partisanship is causing this difference in the dependent variable. But now we must ask, how else besides partisanship are Democrats and Republicans not the same? The answers to how else questions are always compositional differences across values of the independent variable. Let's have a look at this. A compositional difference is any characteristic that varies across categories of an independent variable. But besides the independent variable, there are other things that are going along for the ride and also varying. We can think of lots of differences between Democrats and Republicans besides their partisanship. They may differ in income. Democrats may on average have lower incomes than Republicans, for example. We know that the racial composition of partisans is quite different across values of partisanship, race, gender. The example in the book is using gender as a compositional difference to examine the relationship between partisanship and gun control opinions. In fact, Democrats and Republicans may have compositional differences in many other ways that we have not thought of. And since we don't have random assignment as a tool in our methodological toolbox, we now have to worry about these rival explanations as confounding our favorite hypothesis about partisanship and gun control. Now here's a key point. If a compositional difference is a cause of the dependent variable, then changes in the dependent variable may be plausibly attributed to the compositional difference, not the independent variable. I mean, there's a couple of ideas going on here. If you find a compositional difference across the independent variable, let's use gender for example, but that compositional difference is not also related to the dependent variable, then you don't have to worry about anything because there's no causal linkage between the compositional difference and the dependent variable. But if the compositional difference is also a cause of the dependent variable, then we have to control for its effects because we may be confusing the effect of the independent variable with the compositional difference. Now here's some standard notational nomenclature when we start talking about variables x and y and z. They have certain representations here. Let's introduce them. The independent variable is represented by x. This is just by convention. The dependent variable by y. A rival cause is represented by the variable z. In the partisanship explanation, party identification is x because that's featured in our favorite hypothesis about party ID, and gun control opinion is what we think is being caused by x. And gender represents a potential rival, a rival causal variable z. Now here's the logic of controlling for z. Imagine that individuals have different values on x. So this group of individuals are Democrats and this group are Republicans, but they share the same value on z. So all of those who are Democrats we're comparing are women, and all the Republicans are women that we're comparing. And same token, male Democrats and male Republicans. then changes in y across values of x cannot be caused by z because z is being held constant. We're not permitting it to vary. We're holding it constant as we make this comparison across values of x. That is, compare female Democrats, for example, with female Republicans, and compare male Democrats with male Republicans. That's the logic of control comparison. We neutralize the effect of a rival cause by holding it constant, by not permitting it to operate. Now, I should emphasize that if we were to find a partisan difference among females and a partisan difference among men, that doesn't mean that it's only partisanship that's causing the differences on Y, but we have ruled out gender as a potential rival. We've held it constant, not permitting it to operate.